How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today, what we're going to be talking about is NIO and as well as Polestar. I want to make sure you guys are prepared going into the coming week, and I also do get a lot of questions about these stocks as well. Let's not waste more time. So when we take a look at NIO, we can see it close at $20.22, being down 3.25%. On the low, it tested $19.88. And then on the high, testing $20.68. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 34.056 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 38.038 million shares. So we have below average volume on the day, and we also seen a pullback in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see that NIO has been on an uptrend, and ever since June the 27th, it has been downtrending. But here's what's very interesting to me. If NIO can hold support above 1864, it still continues to look strong. And here's what potentially could play out. We could see, since it bounced off this 1860 area, could we have a continuation where we move up the test all the way back here to $24? This could be a strong possibility. And considering that it's trading right at $20.22, I feel like that is something that you need to watch. Another point I want to bring to your attention: if we're able to actually form this cup and then want to break out to the upside, NIO does have a gap to fill right here around $27.20. Again, this would be the most bullish case scenario, and you have a good idea of what that range could be between 24 and as well as 27. If it decides to show some weakness, that means we'd have to get a break below 1864. It saw a low at 1988, so keep that in mind. But if we break through 1864, then we could see NIO coming all the way down here to around $16. So that is why I would keep a very close eye on these particular levels, and the most important one being is that 1864 level. You could also see here back on June the 14th, we had a big candle here on this particular day, a lot of strong buying, so that's why there's not a strong support structure after this has occurred. We had that big buy day, and then it just started trending up. So revisiting back to these levels, that's why I'm saying it's very possible for NIO to come down to 16. If it breaks down below that, then the next area where we could see some support coming in is around 1435, but keep that on watch. But in my personal opinion, I don't see NIO coming down to $14 in the near term, so I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that. Even in regards to 16, unless the tensions decide to pick up between America and as well as for China, then that is a different ball game. But what I want to see from NIO, though, is being able to make that move to at least $24 to see that high that it got to back in June. But we do know, as far as resistance is concerned, and taking a look at the chart, we need to break above that $22 level. And once that's confirmed, then the likelihood of getting to 24 increases even higher. So let's see what it does going into the coming week. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for NIO. As we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we want to see the recent filings for the 5th, which we have here is Meridian Wealth Management LLC that purchased 9,723 shares. We have 9 Masters Capital Limited that purchased 14,199 shares. We have NS Partners Limited that purchased just over 1.3 million shares. We have some closed positions. We have Old Mission Capital LLC that purchased just over 535,000 shares. And that's all we have for the 5th. We could also see for the 4th, Evoke Wealth LLC that purchased 50 shares, and 7-8 Capital that purchased 101,263 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 42.51%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 6.24 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated just now, and then when we take a look at the short borrow-free rate, it is at 0.33%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 4th, it was at 32.57, and then for the close of the 5th, 5th being at 42.51. So that is a significant increase right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 4.54%, NIO doesn't have short squeeze potential. Let's take a look at the chart for Polestar. So we see here that it closed at $9.38, being up 1.41%. On the low, it tested $9.18, and then on the high, testing $9.45. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 1.167 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 1.442 million shares. So you can see that we had below average volume, but we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, Polestar is looking really good. So we can go as far back, taking into consideration July 26 when it tested that low around 860. It has been on a solid uptrend, and we could see a continuation of higher lows and as well as higher highs, aside from what we had on the Friday compared to the previous day. We had a big run up going all the way up to 970 before seeing some resistance. On the Friday, we got to $9.45, but just by taking a look at this green hammer candle, this is a good sign. This is bullish. So what do I want to see, especially going into Monday? I would like to see us break above 950. We saw a high at 945, so this is very achievable. If we're able to do that, then we want to see if we can pass that resistance right around 970. If we can pass 970, then that's where we want to see if Polestar can make that move to $10. So that's why I'll be watching these particular levels very closely. If it decides to have a pullback now, it did test the low at $9.18, so we want to have a higher low. So even though we don't get a higher high from Friday, or we don't reach that level at 970, as long as we get some sort of support coming in at around 920 or even 919 or higher, we are doing very well. If we break below those levels, then I'm looking for support to come in right here on the 9 EMA, which is at $9.13. And when we take a look at our stochastics down below, it is showing us that there's a lot more room for this stock to go. So that's why you want to keep it on close watch, especially if we end up making a move to the 50 EMA, which is at $9.76. But again, just know $9.70 is that key level to watch. We get that break above it, it makes it very easy for Polestar to wanting to make that move going to $10. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Polestar. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 5th, we have Clearview Wealth Advisors LLC that purchased 50 shares. We can see for the 4th now, we have Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management that purchased 499,877 shares. We also have BNP Paribas Asset Management Holdings that purchased just under 3.4 million shares. We have the Cutler Group that went in with some puts with a value of 103,300 shares. And you also see with the value of calls at 251,500 shares. And we also see they went in with a share position of 8,528 shares. And then for the next one, we have F3 Logic LLC that purchased 39,100 shares. And we have Simplex Trading LLC with 16,902 shares. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 64.34%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 335,830 shares. Now when we scroll down the page, the short shares availability is at 200,000, updated 9 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 166.77% with a max on the day at 180.20%. Wow. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 4th, it was at 53.96. And then for the close of the 5th, being at 64.34. So that is a significant increase right there. So there's no doubt that Polestar does continue to have short squeeze potential. And that pretty much sums up the video. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. We'll talk soon.